Hey guys, I just wanted to go ahead and start on a chart video, something super simple, just get some introduction to it. It's Sunday, just sitting around, Labor Day weekend, might as well look at something, right? So some people asked to look up NAO. I have no idea about this company, I've never looked at it before. We're just going to go with the chart, see what we can figure out, and go from there. So from what I found, this company is Nordic American Offshore Limited. No idea what they do. I'm guessing oil or something. It's offshore, so something like that. But anyway, let's take a look at their chart. So when you first pull up a chart, it's going to be set up basically whatever your platform's default is. I generally, when I first look at a company, I like to pull up either the daily or weekly chart, zoom out, and get a big trend. What has it been doing for the past 6 months or year? Those are big trends. A stock's generally not going to go too hard against what it's been doing for a whole year. Unless there's a crazy event, something, some milestone in the company that changes what's going on. So we have NAO up here. We have a daily chart pulled up. Where we're zoomed out, we can see all the way back, to 2016, a little bit into 2015 as well. Um, and it does not look good, guys, right? This has just been going steadily down. But like I said in my other video, we don't know why it's going down without also knowing about filings, world events. What are they doing? Is there dilution? Is their product not going as great? Are they building new? If we're assuming this is an oil company, are they building new refineries and stuff? Do they need money? Like, what have they been doing? Diluting shares? So we look at here, it's definitely in a downtrend. I'm going to go in a little bit closer in here because if you're trading this sometime soon, you're going to probably care more about the most recent time. Now, it looks here we had a little bit of recovery, but super, super jumpy. We got a downtrend here, and now it seems to be somewhat leveling out, with even looks like a massive peak here on the last day. Looks like, what day is this? Oh, the first. So the last trading day we just had. But let's go ahead and so let's pick one of these peaks here. Now what I'm doing here, I just have the ray tool. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on one of the peaks and see a general trend line with the bars here. So I'm just going to go peak to peak. And this is subjective, by the way. You guys, when you're doing your trend lines, don't think you have to do it exactly like me because trend lines and a lot of charting is very subjective. Don't think it's all black and white. There's a lot of ways to interpret a chart and set it up. Um, but see, like I could go this peak to here. I could even decide, maybe I don't think that peak's necessarily that important. Maybe this next one is. So I could go to this peak right here as opposed to the very top of here. I may even decide that this is more important. So, you know what I mean? Cut off some of those extreme peaks and go more with the general trend, which actually I think I'm going to do. I think I like that better. I think it fits more of the general chart idea in it than this does because we don't have that high of an incline. So let's go ahead and set it down here. And so yeah, that's not looking good. Let's just take this extreme peak here, go down here. So I mean, pretty much no matter which way you look at it, excuse me, this is going down now, right now. But one thing I didn't even see this till just now. I like this. When we do this peak to this peak, we're now reaching right here. Check this out. So even though we've dipped so hard below this trend here, it looks like we might be matching back up with our steady decline trend here, naturally anyway. Um, So it's down, but it's matching a lower trend. So maybe this little dip isn't as bad as it looks, you know what I mean? Um, and again, I would do so much more to this than just find out trend lines. This is just a general basic start. Um, so let's see, like, what's going on here? Like, is there something more we could pull up to see what causes drop? definitely. There's definitely something that will tell us what's going on here. So let's pull up one of the most basic studies, just volume. I mean, this is something that anybody should look at. Wow, look at this. Immediately right there, guys. Like, we didn't even have to look very far, did we? Look at all the selling volume, right? Because red is going to be selling, green's buying pressure, right? So whatever happened here on the 23rd, 24th caused people to jump ship, either sell completely, do something. So, but what happened? You know, there's a reason people sold that stuff, right? So I went into Google. I just typed, literally just typed in NAO SEC filings, and I went through and I looked for anything that was on the between the 20th and 25th. And look what we found, guys. Right here on the 23rd, Nordic American is selling 33 million shares, and that's an odd number, very repetitive there. But check it out. They are offering for sale 33 million of its common shares. So, like we talked about in the other video with stock splits, dilution, and changing the outstanding shares, that is exactly what this company is doing. They have not fully used their total amount of authorized shares, and I'm assuming they need capital. So what they're doing is they're offering these shares out at a public offering price and putting them directly in the market. So people, being smart that they are, they know that this is going to cause the price to go down temporarily because that is 33 million new shares that need to be soaked up by people buying in the float to make the price stabilize. So here we go. That's your huge drop there. But now, after this huge drop, let me close this back up, get that out of the way. So we have this huge drop, but now it's almost like, in my head, it's almost a new chart. We have a completely new share structure. We're starting at a new price. A huge sell-off happened, and it's almost like it's reset. Obviously, it's not reset. That downtrend is still happening, but we we're building from something new. We have new shareholders, less shareholders maybe, and we got to figure out if we want to invest in this. I mean, so they diluted. What did they dilute for? Like, say, I'm not going to go into this right now. This is something you would want to do if you're looking at a company like this. But why did they dilute those shares? Like, are they going towards a big project that's going to help them out? Because if in that case, it may be worth investing now, knowing those shares will be worth more later. There's so many variables you have to look at. You can't just look at the chart or the filings. You need to go through their PRs as well. Like, what are they actively doing? But I'm just going to look at the chart here right now. And as you can see, we just did another thing like the beginning. We did upper peak to upper peak. We did bottom peak to bottom peak. And we got a general trend. And if you look, it's kind of wanting to go up a little bit. It's heading back towards the price before the dilution, very slowly, mind you. Excuse me very much. But it is a uptrend. Now let's pull up another study really quick before we end the video here. Let's pull up RSI. Now RSI is, I believe, relative strength, and basically this is going to show if we're low here, like near the 20s, that means it's really oversold. So check this out. See where the volume is right here? Look how far that dipped. We went below 20. Like, this is super, super oversold this day. But for obvious reasons. Like we said, they're dumping 33 million more shares into the market. And RSI slowly climbing up, slowly coming up. And this is when it's getting closer and closer to overbought, meaning too much buying pressure, not enough selling pressure. Price could be inflated possibly. You could be looking at people trying to sell soon. There's a lot of ways to read the RSI. We can go into more on that later. But I just wanted to generally show you here that we are getting this up channel. Volume's pretty much dying though. Check that out. Like, volume's way lower than it is here, right? Except for this last day, we got a huge spike. And the RSI got a huge spike as well. So yes, looks very good when you first look at it. But in my head right now, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a correction soon, possibly down back just to this lower point because just of how high the RSI is in the buying volume that day. Like it's stocks naturally ebb and flow. The, they oscillate, if you will, and they're going to react and bounce back to its common idea, if you will. Not a good way to explain that, but we'll go more into that later. But basically, I think this is a good sign since this dilution thing that it is going up slightly. I wish there was a lot more volume, and there's a lot of other things I would look at before this. But remember, guys, this is just our basic intro looking at a chart. But I would say it's building a little bit of support. It definitely needs a lot more volume. This is a little spooky. I would wait. I would definitely wait a week or so and see where this settles out. But not knowing what was released or done this day, I mean, I could look and see, did something happen on the first? I'm just quickly looking on my other screen, guys. Yeah, so see, they haven't had any filings since June. So there hasn't been anything filed that, for the SEC that would do this, but they may have done a small PR or something like that, and that's good news on the first. I don't know about it. But anyway, guys, it's a super short intro. Just a quick look at the RSI, how you can see volume, see what it shows, and how the chart can really show you where you need to look at something. Like if you see huge gaps like this, there's probably a reason. If you see a huge peak like this, there's probably a reason. We didn't find it today, but there's probably a reason for that. Maybe it even was just stock twits message volume. A lot of people jumped ship. Um, some hype man, got behind it and he's making people buy it now. But my general idea would be if you look, it's probably dilution going on, but this seems to be the last major dilution thing, unless this was here. We don't know. Right here, that little area, that could just been a normal sell-off. So there's a lot to look at. Really, I would today, if I was you, if you haven't learned about RSI and how to read volume, I would go ahead and take a look at that. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. I'll be glad to answer. But yeah, just try to pull up a chart or something you're looking at and pull it up in the daily and see if you can find any interesting gaps without looking at their filings first, and figure out if you can find a day to look at their filings just by looking at the chart. See how much information you can grab before going to an outside source. It's kind of a fun test, I think, to see how much information is visually in the chart. Anyway, guys, that was just, like I said, a short video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll do some more next weekend. I was just trying to get the ball rolling a bit today. And yeah, well, have a good afternoon, guys. Happy Labor Day, and stay safe out there.